looking out for you. This is Oklahoma's News Channel 4 This Morning.
Oklahoma City police looking into the stabbing of a man on the city's southwest side. New information coming up in a live report.
Also new this morning, the driver of a semi ends up in a hospital after a crash. What the driver ran into and where that happened.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Allie Meyer.
And I'm Ken Ogle. Emily here following our forecast. Only 71 degrees. We could be hot this time of year so easily.
Yes, and the dew point's up, so we're going to notice that stickiness factor returning. Yep, not surprising with all the rain we've received. Let's take a look at the radar right now. We're tracking some showers and storms still across western Oklahoma, and it's becoming more expansive as well. So zooming off to the north, you can see this new little line of storms now drifting to the north-northeast from just south of Fargo to Visay to Taloga and Oakwood. So this is going to create a quick burst of heavy rain. Also a new shower developing over Arnett. So heads up for the morning drive in western Oklahoma. We still have this swath of rain from Elk City to Hobart and Roosevelt, some small storms over Snyder, Altus, and El Dorado, and then light rain over Lawton. Temperatures very warm across the state in the low to mid 70s, winds light at just 5 miles per hour. Here's a look at our visibility map. Fog all across eastern Oklahoma, less than a mile visibility for Ada and 2 miles for Stillwater. This afternoon, hot, humid, and breezy in the low 90s. Isolated storms. Some of them could be severe later today. I'll have more on the storm timing coming up. Allie, Kent.
Thank you. At 6:02 now this morning, police are investigating a fatal stabbing in southwest Oklahoma City.
The stabbing happened late last night. Jessica Bruno is covering the details for us this morning. She joins us now live from the Oklahoma City Police Department. Jessica.
Well, you guys, right now we don't know much about what led to the stabbing, but we do know the victim is a man. Police tell us they responded to the scene around 10 last night. This happened near Reno and Western. When officers got there, they found the victim who had been stabbed. He later died. Right now, we don't have a motive or any suspect information. We're not sure if this is an isolated incident or if the victim and suspect knew each other. We'll keep you posted on that. But be sure and call police if you have any information that can help. We're live in downtown Oklahoma City. Jessica Bruno, Oklahoma's News Channel 4.
All right, Jess, thank you.
Hope they can get some information right away there. Also new this morning, the driver of a semi-truck in a hospital after crashing into road equipment on the southbound lanes of Airport Road, talking Highway 152 and I-44 busy spot. Investigators say the driver suffered head and back injuries but is in stable condition. Emergency crews are still investigating exactly what happened. Avoid the area if you can.
And an alleged plot to blow up a building in downtown Oklahoma City was foiled by the FBI yesterday. Authorities arrested this young man, 23-year-old Jerry Barnell. He's accused of trying to carry out a plan to detonate a car bomb near Bank First in downtown Oklahoma City. According to the court paperwork, the suspect was upset with the government and seeking retaliation. The FBI claims he first aspired to bomb the Federal Reserve building in D.C. in the same manner as the Oklahoma City bombing of 1995.
Always there for you. This is News Channel 4 This Morning.
Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division. Have to get together.
This is a historic night. The American people have spoken, and the American people have elected their new champion.
Pretty close, and our presidential election played out for hours with close numbers in key battleground states. In fact, the popular vote isn't even fully counted yet. Trump's surprising win and the upset for Hillary Clinton.
Well, I think now the focus shifts to the state capitol. If this plan was not the plan that a majority of the people wanted.
Here in Oklahoma, supporters of State Question 779 disappointed after the so-called penny sales tax to fund teacher pay fails.
And another hot issue here in Oklahoma, State Question 777, the right to farm. You saw TV ads on this one for weeks ahead of yesterday's vote. The passion on both sides of the issue and how it shaked out last night. Good morning, everyone. I'm Allie Meyer.
And I'm Ken Ogle, and Kent slamming coffee Ogle this morning.
I know, we're all a bit bleary-eyed.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know what? We're off to a cool start across the state this morning. Maybe that'll help wake you up stepping outside. Right. Taking a live look right now, we are tracking calm conditions. You can see some clouds looming over the metro. That's actually preventing our temps from really falling. But in northern Oklahoma, boy, is it a lot colder. 20 degrees colder, in fact, for Woodward. We are looking at temps in the 30s across northwestern Oklahoma. Let me know if you're seeing some frost. I bet we'll see it at least in northwestern Oklahoma, and freeze warning for the Panhandle. 52 for OKC, winds out of the north at 10 miles per hour. For this afternoon, cool with mostly sunny skies, temps in the low to mid 60s. It is going to be a cool one today despite the sunshine, but a little bit of a warming trend is around the corner. I'll have more on that and more on our next big storm chance coming up. Allie, Ken.
Thank you. Well, it was a big night of tight races and nail-biting results.
Oklahomans spent the night learning who will be our next president and who will be representing us in Congress.
Quite a night, of course, for the race for the presidency. President-elect Donald Trump, he defeated Hillary Clinton after a slew of tight races among key battleground states.
There's the results from here in Oklahoma. 65% of the vote for Trump. In our state Senate race, U.S. Senator James Lankford has won re-election by a large margin compared to his opponents.
District 2 incumbent Mark Wayne Mullen has been re-elected to another term, defeating his opponent by almost 50%.
Frank Lucas has won District 3 also by a large margin over his opponent.
Incumbent Tom Cole will continue to represent District 4, defeating Christina Owen and Sevier White for the position.
And Steve Russell beat out Democrat Al McCaffrey and Zachary Knight to take District 5, winning by 20 percentage points.
Arguably one of the most contentious debates in Oklahoma was State Question 777. You saw it as the Right to Farm bill.
And the proposition was struck down 60 to 40%.
News Channel 4's Ashley Kringen joins us live from the state capitol with more on this one. This one was hotly debated for weeks before the election. Ashley.
It sure was. A lot of people have been following this bill very closely, and there are strong opinions on both sides of the table. But as you can tell by the results, Oklahoma communities shut this down. Let's take a look at some video and we'll tell you a little bit more. Critics say if passed, it would have benefited corporate farms the most. It would have prevented lawmakers from passing legislation to regulate broad farming and ranching practices unless there was a compelling state interest. The so-called Right to Farm bill aimed to amend the Constitution and create guaranteed rights for the agriculture industry.
State Question 777 was basically giving a blank check to corporate agriculture in the future to avoid any legislation, any administrative regulation, any vote of the people about its practices, and I think that's bad government.
Those in favor of the bill say they will continue to fight to protect Oklahoma's family farmers and ranchers. Now, we do have a lot more information about this very topic on our website because we have been following it for quite some time. You can log on to KFOR.com for more information. From the state capitol, I'm Ashley Kringen, News Channel 4.
Right, Ashley, thank you. Another controversial state question, 779. That measure raising the state sales tax by a penny to fund teacher pay raises. Now, you've been following that. Well, here's a look at the results. Majority of Oklahomans voting no, defeating that measure. Supporters of the question spoke to News Channel 4, telling us they were disappointed. OU President David Boren led the charge for the measure, but he says it failed due to misinformation.
But I think also there are some people that simply wanted to see a different way than the sales tax of funding education in Oklahoma. I don't think they understand we have to pay our teachers a competitive wage or we won't have any teachers.
Supporters say this election was a conversation starter and they will continue to fight for their cause. Also hearing from the other side of State Question 779, Enid Mayor and Oklahoma Deserves Better campaign chair Bill Shuey says it's now critical that we move forward to create a comprehensive plan that will ensure that our schools, teachers, and our children receive the state funding they deserve. Oklahomans also voted on 5 other state questions. State Question 776, that declares the death penalty as not being cruel or unusual punishment and will allow the legislature to designate any method of execution if the current one is deemed unconstitutional. It passed with 67% of the vote.
Let's take a look at State Question 780, which would reclassify some criminal offenses like drug possession and property crimes to misdemeanors from felonies. Voters chose to approve that measure by 57%.
State Question 781 relates to 780. It allows counties to use money saved from not sending those offenders to prison to fund community rehabilitation programs. Voters approved that measure by almost 57%.
State Question 790, which would remove a section of the Oklahoma Constitution to allow governments to use public money on property for the benefit of any religious or religious institution or religion. The 10 Commandments state question, voters rejected by 57%. And in the race for Oklahoma County Sheriff, here's a look at the results there. Sheriff Wetzel retains his seat. This was a contentious race. An incumbent Wetzel took on a Republican opponent, Mike Christian. You'll recall a critical audit of the sheriff's office clouded the campaign. It was a tight race throughout the evening, but late last night, Sheriff Wetzel was declared victorious.
Let me first of all say thank you. It's been an interesting campaign, and I want to thank everybody in here who helped participate in this campaign, whether it was making calls or putting out signs, for everything you did.
Well, Election Day is over, but we're still interested in hearing what you have to say.
Yeah, whether you're on Facebook or on Twitter, use the hashtag K4. Today we'll have more coverage of post-election day results and big issues that affect a lot of folks here in Oklahoma. Check out our website for updates, k4.com.
In other news, some Pontotoc County public schools are closed today due to a water advisory. Bing Public Schools posted the closure on Twitter, saying it was a mandatory water boil order from the city of Ada. Ada Public Schools and Lattice Schools will also be closed today. A statement from Ada said this was due to the presence of sediment above applicable limits in the main water storage facility. Advisory will remain in effect until further notice. 6:07 now this morning.
And we want to check in with Emily Sutton, watching the weather outside on this fall-like day. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we are going to finally feel like fall this entire week. Kids at the bus stop, you'll want to wear a jacket for that reason. At least in central Oklahoma, we're in the 50s, but in northern Oklahoma, we're well into the 30s. Going home, at least we'll have some sunshine today. Warming up to the middle 60s. Here's a live look outside. A calm start this morning. Western sides of the metro, we've fallen into the low 40s for El Reno, for example. 56 for Norman, 48 for Shawnee, and 46 for Stillwater. So we're quickly cooling down. Winds out of the north at 10 to 15 miles per hour this afternoon. 64 degrees. I'll have more on our gradual warming trend and then talk about our next big storm chance coming up. Now let's find out about traffic with Heather.
And good morning, everyone. Things look great. 44 westbound, that's where Travis is right now, out live for us this morning. No accidents so far. We had some minor ones, those have cleared. But taking a look at some construction today, these lanes have just reopened after overnight traffic construction, where they were narrowed on I-44 both ways. It was down to one lane in both directions, Northwest 23rd to Northwest 10th. This happens nightly through Friday from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. and it happened last night. So again, those lanes just now reopening. Same story down in the Purcell area along I-35 in both ways, narrowed to one lane. Highway 74 nightly through Friday, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Also have this construction along Highway 74. It's narrowed to one lane through the spring of 2017 for some bridge repair. Okay, let's take a look at some travel times for you right now in the Purcell area, right there where that construction is. 35 northbound from Highway 74 in Purcell to Highway 74 in Goldsby. That's a 10-minute drive with no slowdowns. 35 northbound from Goldsby to Norman, you're looking at 5 minutes, and then on up from Norman, Main Street to Moore, 4th Street, 7-minute drive right now. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you. Well, still ahead, new information linked to last Sunday's earthquake in Cushing.
The estimated cost for one property owner still assessing the damage to his building.
Plan underway in Florida for the Pulse nightclub. What's expected to happen to that building where so many people lost their lives in a massacre?
And back to the big national headline of the morning this morning. The 2016 presidential campaign has been decided, a historic race with tense moments coming up to the last minutes. And in fact, they're still counting the popular vote this morning.
That is true. Donald Trump, the Republican nominee, though, did emerge victorious, of course. So
talking about that coming up next.
Yeah, keep it right here.
You're watching News Channel 4 this morning with Ali Meyer, Kent Ogle, and Emily Sutton. News Channel 4, always there for you. Always there for you. This is News Channel 4 this morning.
No racist USA. Ho ho! Donald Trump has got to go.
I wanted Hillary to win more than anybody. And I need Hillary to stand up right now and walk in and sue the United States of America.
Protests around the nation after the election victory that shocked the world.
And a man shot in the neck. We'll tell you where that happened and the hunt for the shooter coming up in a live report.
The drama continues for Oklahoma County Sheriff John Wetzel. He won his re-election, but many questions still remain after investigation into the department's finances. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ali Meyer.
And I'm Ken Ogle. Emily Sutton here following our forecast. Look at that temperature on your screen, 43 degrees out there.
Yeah, that's almost 10 degrees colder than yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm. And you have to keep in mind surrounding areas of the metro get a lot colder sometimes. So we're well into the 30s now in several parts. Though.
Wow. I bet El Reno's colder. They always are.
Oh, it's always the cool spot. It is. Yeah.
Low spot.
Sometimes it's where the sensor's located. Yeah. But let's talk about the weather. Right now we are tracking those cool temperatures and it's resulting in
Possibly some frost this morning. Let me know what you're seeing, but we have a frost advisory from Ponca City to Enid to Stillwater, OKC, McAllister, and then even some freeze warnings to the northeast. Clear skies, light winds, that's what's allowing those temps to drop. We're at 35 for Ponca City, 43 for OKC, and 37 for Enid. Winds out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. This afternoon, mild and sunny. Temperatures actually 5 degrees above normal, 70 for OKC, the upper 60s to the south. I will have more, though, on the cool down for the weekend and then a huge warm up for next week coming up. Allie, Kent.
All right, thank you. A man shot in the neck in Cleveland County. Deputies still searching for the gunman this morning.
The crime scene in Noble. It happened near 72nd Street and Cemetery Road.
News Channel 4's Ashley Kringen joins us live from Cleveland County Sheriff's Office with more details about this investigation. Good morning.
Good morning, Kent and Allie. Well, this was a scary situation. Police say a woman called 911 and she said that she came home to her husband shot. This is the scene in Noble, so let's head to our video. This all happened around 1 o'clock this morning. This house is on Pine Ridge and Cemetery Road, not too far from 72nd Street. When deputies got to the scene, they found a 25-year-old man suffering from a gunshot wound to the neck. He was taken to the hospital. We are still waiting for updates on his condition, and we're waiting for a description on the suspect, so we will get you that information as soon as we get it. But if you know any details about this shooting, you can help officials out, and you can call the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office. They have a tip line. We'll put that number for you up on the screen. That's the number. Call that if you know any details. We will continue to update you throughout the morning. Reporting live in Norman, I'm Ashley Kringen, News Channel 4.
Thank you, Ashley. While Oklahoma voters said no to a penny sales tax and a raise for our teachers, there was a sigh of relief for Oklahoma City Public Schools. Voters agreed to a $180 million bond issue for the state's largest district. It will not raise property taxes in Oklahoma City. The money is going to upgrade plumbing, install and repair heat and air units. The funds will also replace leaking roofs and upgrade some electrical systems.
I think you've heard a lot over the last several months about issues with air conditioning at many of our schools where the parts were just really old and, we needed to do some replacement.
More than $54 million will go to technology, like Wi-Fi connections is one way they're going to use that money. $19 million will go toward transportation to replace rundown buses. The bond package will be implemented over the next 5 years. Tuesday's night election was a tale of victory and loss for public education. Teachers won't be getting a pay raise. The penny sales tax initiative was voted down. On the flip side of that, though, 42 pro-education candidates won their races. They've been dubbed apples by one political action committee. One of those apples is Mickey Dolans, a former U.S. Grant High School teacher who was laid off because of state budget cuts. He says teachers' raises are at the top of his list.
It is a discussion we will have to have in the upcoming session, and we need to tackle it. We need to keep our teachers here. We need to retain quality teachers, and we need to keep the great ones that we have in Oklahoma.
One of the main groups that lobbied against that penny sales tax say they'll also be at the Capitol this next legislative session, trying to get a teacher pay raise funded maybe another way. You approved it, but the fight to get strong beer and wine in grocery and convenience stores may face another hurdle. The Liquor Association that came out against it a long time ago is now fighting the passage of State Question 792. Some liquor store owners feel the measure was written unfairly.
For example, there's a limitation placed on us for sale of non-alcoholic items to 20% of our gross sales. There's no corresponding limit placed on wine and beer sales for the new wine licensees. Also, we're limited to 2 locations, 2 licenses versus unlimited licenses on the other side.
Supporters think it's a common sense law that will stand up to scrutiny. If the measure holds up against those challenges, it'll go into effect October 1st of 2018, almost 2 years away. Oklahoma County Sheriff John Wetzel was reelected but faced a new challenge yesterday morning. That's when the county commissioners approved an investigation into the department's finances. An audit shows Sheriff Wetzel knowingly failed to pay a medical provider, a decision that could cost taxpayers millions of dollars after a lawsuit. The Board of Commissioners considered suspending him, removing him, or sanctioning him at that meeting. Thank you very much.
Some serious issues out there that have to be addressed, and that's what we're doing. But we need to do it in a reasonable, systematic fashion.
Oklahoma County DA David Prater will lead the investigation, which he expects will begin in January. The process could take 2 to 6 months.
A woman arrested in connection and accused in a horrific case of elderly abuse. Police mugs say Sharon Faree was the caretaker for an 83-year-old man in northwest Oklahoma City. Officers got an anonymous tip that the man was being punched and kicked. They went to his home to check on him. And according to police reports, there was a skin tear on his arm and a fresh animal bite on his ear. In fact, the report said a piece of his ear was missing and the victim had a strong body odor.
He had such visible injuries. The house reeked when they went in, and they could see all of the clutter and disrepair that the house was in.
Police say Faree then told the officers the victim was fine and nothing was wrong with the way he was being kept. They saw differently. Obviously, the victim was taken to the hospital to be treated for those injuries, dehydration, and irregular heartbeat. Faree was taken to jail. She's been charged with caretaker abuse. If you suspect abuse, you can call your local DHS office during business hours. They've also got a statewide hotline set up for after hours. The number is 1-800-522-3511.
There you go. Some Pontotoc County public schools remain closed today due to a water advisory. Bing Public Schools posted the closure on Twitter.
Told you about this yesterday. They said due to the continued water boil advisory, Bing Public Schools is going to remain closed. Ada and Laddick Public Schools are also closed once again today. This is the second day in a row for those communities.
Illegal exotic animals found in a metro home, and when our crew went to investigate, they got quite the scare.
And we see a lot of things on the job, so that's a little surprising. Our photographer was getting video of the homeowner's property. Even though he wasn't on his land, actually the owner got irate, snatching our camera and forcing our crew to call police for help. We did get the camera back.
This is where several animal care agencies recently executed a search warrant. Oklahoma Wildlife Department officials say they seized an American alligator snapping turtles, one Texas horned lizard. Those reptiles aren't allowed to be pets in Oklahoma. Also on the property, about 100 snakes from around the world. Wildlife officers found those pets after the water department went to investigate what they thought was a leak there. There you go. 6:08 now this morning.
Let's check in with Emily Sutton watching the weather outside. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, kids at the bus stop, you need to wear the coat. Otherwise, you're going to be shivering out there at the bus stop. Temps in the upper 30s to lower 40s, recess 62 degrees going home. Mostly sunny skies and 70 degrees. Let's take a live look outside. And this is what I'm talking about. You see one number on the bottom of your screen, but look at the surrounding areas. It's 37 for Moore. It is 34 for El Reno, 36 for Kingfisher, and 36 for Stillwater. That's chilly, and so it won't be too surprising if we see some frost. There's a frost advisory for northern, central, and eastern Oklahoma. Let me know if you are seeing anywhere you live. Right now, we're looking at clear skies, light winds. That's contributing to it. We have a nice warming trend, though, for later today. I'll have more on that coming up. Now let's turn to Heather for traffic.
And let's take a look outside right now. Travis is driving along for us, but apparently we don't have his shot. So let's take a look at this beautiful shot. Here we have the Skydance Bridge. Isn't this beautiful? I-40 running along right there. Everything looks great right there, but we do have one accident. It's just recently happened, so it hasn't quite shown up on the map. Southwest 34th and Western, about right there, and that is an injury accident, so emergency crews will be on the street. Want to remind you about this going on right now. This is some construction that's happening along I-44. This is going to last through November in these areas in white at Northwest 27th, Northwest 19th, and Southwest 25th. They are closed at I-44. This Northwest 16th, this is the bridge going over I-44, and it's closed through January. I want to show you this video that happened yesterday of a traffic mess. This was at Sunny Lane at 66th Street, and this shut down traffic between 59th and 74th. Bob Moore Chopper 4 was over the scene. One person was taken to the hospital with some serious injuries there. Guys, back to you.
Thank you.
New information from South Carolina where two people were found buried on a property where a woman was chained in a storage container.
Police say the suspect told them about those bodies. And a high-speed chase came to an unexpected end. The rider didn't want to give up right away. The dramatic footage from that chase.
President-elect Donald Trump gets a look inside his new home and workspace as the transition begins. Plus, the oversized and flightless bird that caused a traffic hazard.
Don't miss those stories coming up next. Keep it here.
You're watching News Channel 4 This Morning with Allie Meyer, Kent Ogle, and Emily Sutton. News Channel 4, always there for you. always there for you. This is News Channel 4 This Morning.
Tire shop goes up in flames, closing a road in Midwest City. We'll have the latest in a live report.
Also, the state superintendent, Joy Hoffmeister, facing criminal charges now, what Oklahoma County prosecutors say she knowingly did in her 2014 campaign against Janet Barisi. Good morning, everyone. I'm Allie Meyer.
And I'm Ken Ogle. We're following your forecast right now with Emily. We're looking good out there. Got a little fog.
Yeah, a little bit of fog. It's not too bad for the metro yet, but in northern Oklahoma, it's some dense fog.
Yeah, I drove through it.
Yeah, you did?
All right, well, watch out for that. But this afternoon, it'll be beautiful. Let's take a look outside. It's already beautiful because it's Friday. Dense fog until 10 a.m. across the state. This is from basically northeastern Oklahoma down to the southwest, kind of following along I-44. At least with the advisories, but the actual fog's pretty much confined to north central, northeastern Oklahoma. Dense fog from Enid, Ponca City to Tulsa, Stillwater, now 2.5 miles of visibility. Some dense fog just northwest of the metro. So taking a look at our storm scanner, we have some clearing skies to the northwest. This is where our coolest temperatures are located. 15 degrees colder for Woodward at 39 degrees, 45 for Alva and 57 for OKC. Either way, we'll probably all want a jacket this morning. Winds out of the northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. You can shed the jacket this afternoon. Beautiful weather in the low 70s with a light northeasterly wind. Now, we'll have nice weather tomorrow, but everything changes Sunday as our next storm system approaches, and this storm system will stick around for a while. I'll have more on our beneficial rain coming up. Allie, Kent.
Our top story this hour, a fire in Midwest City overnight.
Busy scene for firefighters in Midwest City. This one broke out about 2:30 in the morning at 23rd and Midwest Boulevard. We know the fire shut down traffic in that area. This was a big one, and crews are still on the scene.
Take a look at this video that came into our newsroom from our crew on the scene. Smoke and flames high into the air, as you can see, as firefighters fought to keep those flames from hitting other structures nearby.
Ashley Kringan's live on the scene at SLS Tire Shop. Ashley, a lot of fuel for this fire.
Right.
Good morning.
That's right. It has been busy. Crews have been out here for about 3.5 hours, and they are still working on the flames. The good news, the fire is contained, but there's still hot spots. So you can tell what they're doing behind us. They are putting water on the fire, and they are just on standby, just making sure that everything's okay, monitoring those hot spots. So we just want to warn drivers, if you are getting ready for work and you're watching us right now, just know that there are closures in the area and you can expect delays. So if you are heading from Midwest City on Northeast 23rd West towards Oklahoma City, there are closures, and it's going to be this way for quite some time as they continue to battle the flames and also clean up the area. Now, it has been quite the battle for crews. Now, let's take a look at our video. And this is because the flames and smoke have been so thick, it was too dangerous for firefighters to go inside. They were forced to take a defensive attack and fight the flames from the outside. Fire officials tell us this tire shop has been in operation for quite some time. There's a lot of storage inside and out. We also know Tinker was called in to help with foam operations to put the fire out.
You're going to have morning traffic probably disrupted in the morning because we do have a fire hose that's laid across 23rd Street.
Regarding the foam operations, the foam is used for hydrocarbon fires or fuel fires, and basically what it does is it smothers the flames. We're told they use 500 gallons of foam to help with the fire, and eventually that foam will dissipate. Now, if you want to take a look at our live picture, there's a car dealership that's connected to this tire shop, and we just spoke to the owner, and he says that there's a little bit of water damage, but not too bad, that they're going to be okay. But crews were able to stop the flames from spreading to that neighboring business. Now, regarding the cause, that's still under investigation, but what we do know is the fire started on the northwest corner of the building, which is where the offices are. So we will continue to follow this for you this morning, so stick with News Channel 4. In Midwest City, I'm Ashley Kringan.
All right, Ashley, thank you. Tire fire, so hard to put out. New this morning, Oklahoma City firefighters also on a fire that broke out in a backyard shed. This in the 3900 block of South Harvey. That's near Southwest Grant and South Walker. Right now, the cause remains under investigation. No reports of any injuries.
New this morning, police are investigating an armed robbery at a Best Western in the 6100 block of North Santa Fe. It happened about 1 a.m. A man, police say, pointed a gun at the clerk and took cash from the drawer. No reports of anyone getting hurt, and police do not have a suspect in custody.
State Superintendent Joy Hoffmeister and 4 powerful Republican operatives charged for campaign violations and conspiracy. Prosecutors say that Hoffmeister and her team formed a dark money group to secretly accept big donations from corporations, all in an effort to run a big negative campaign in 2014 against then Superintendent Janet Barisi. Along with Hoffmeister, prosecutors charged Stephanie Dawn Milligan, Stephen Crawford, Leila Odom, and Fount Holland with 4 counts of accepting contributions in excess of the maximum amount, accepting corporate contributions, and 2 counts of conspiracy. Milligan is currently a consultant for Donald Trump's campaign. Right now, Fount Holland is consulting on dozens of state Republican races. Under Oklahoma law, candidates are not allowed to communicate with these dark money groups, and prosecutors say that Hoffmeister was well aware of what this group was doing. Hoffmeister says she will fight these charges.
At the onset of my campaign, I made a commitment to myself and my supporters that as a candidate and public servant, I would reflect certain values, including transparency, trustworthiness, and above all, integrity. I am confident that my actions throughout my campaign more than 2 years ago were consistent with these values and in compliance with the law.
Republican Chairwoman Pam Pollard told us she stands by Hoffmeister. Governor Mary Fallin said she had not reviewed the charges and we should respect the criminal justice process and allow it to work as designed.
The biggest fine in history imposed by the Oklahoma Corporation Commission 11 months after a home explosion sent 3 people to the hospital in northwest Oklahoma City. Oklahoma Natural Gas has been ordered to pay more than $1 million fine. In addition, ONG and the commission have agreed to work together to identify areas of risk. The commission told us there are about 200 locations across our state that have service lines similar to the one that caused the explosion in this neighborhood. ONG says it is investigating those lines and they have already replaced some. The company tells us they expect to complete their review of possible at-risk areas by the end of the year.
Deadly hit and run leaves police looking for the driver responsible. It happened near Southwest 44th and Sunny Lane around 7 o'clock last night. Witnesses tell police 2 cars were racing when one of them hit and killed a pedestrian. We're told that driver did not stop. Police do not have a description of the vehicle that took off, and they're asking anyone with any information to give them a call.
A new plan of action in place following the 4.5 magnitude earthquake that struck the Pawnee area. The Corporation Commission shut down several wells back in September following the 5.8 quake in Pawnee. Now with this second larger quake of 4.5, another plan has been announced. Wells within 6 miles will stop operations. Within 10 miles, they have to reduce volume by 20% on their last 30-day average. And wells within 15 miles are limited in volume, also to that same average.
We're going to keep going forward with this response. This is a very, very serious situation.
Under this plan, a total of 4 new disposal wells will be shut off. 10 new wells will be reduced to 25% in volume.
6:08 now this morning, 58 degrees, 58 foggy degrees, depending on where you are.
It is foggy out there. It kind of depends where you are in the metro, Emily, but if you're north side or outside of the city to the north, you're going to see a lot of fog.
Yes, that's right. And so either way, you want to allow extra time to get out. All it takes is just driving into a few areas of dense fog to slow things down. Kiddos at the bus stop, you'll definitely want a jacket today. We're cooler in the 50s. Going home, though, nice, 72 degrees. Here's a live look outside. Obviously, not too much fog for downtown OKC. Temperatures in the 40s for Hinton, 58 for Norman, and 58 for Guthrie. So fog is starting to form to the west and north of the metro. Dense fog over Enid, Ponca City. Visibility is a lot better now for Stillwater, and we have some fog near Tulsa as well. So partly cloudy skies for now. Winds out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. This afternoon, it is going to be beautiful. Temperatures in the low 70s, mild, and a light northeasterly wind. Nice for tomorrow, and then our next storm system rolls in late Sunday. I'll have the latest on the storm timing coming up. Now let's turn to Heather for traffic.
Good morning, everyone. You can see some of that fog that Emily was talking about from our live shot where Travis is out on 35 southbound, mixed in right here. So depending on where you live, it might affect your morning drive. Travis is dealing with it a little bit right here on 35 southbound in OKC. We do have one accident going on this morning. Let's zoom into this. 19th and Highland. It is a non-injury, but right here, this is the fire that Ashley was telling us about. So Northeast 23rd and Midwest Boulevard, you're going to want to avoid that area. There are fire hoses blocking the street there. So be aware of that. Also today, this construction continues. I-240 westbound narrowed to 1 lane from Anderson to Douglas, 9 to 6 for some bridge work. And this weekend, it will be the opposite. It will be 240 eastbound that will be narrowed to 1 lane. I'll tell you a little bit about that coming up. Let's take a look at some travel times now. 235 southbound I-44 to I-40 is a 5-minute drive. Zooming on in, 235 southbound I-40 to I-240, 4-minute drive, average speed 67. So we're doing great. No slowdowns there. 240 westbound I-35 to I-44, 4 minutes right now. Guys?
All right, thank you.
Cubs fans everywhere still coming down off the high from Wednesday night's World Series win.
And we have a touching reminder of one of the victims of the Murrah building bombing.
One of the chairs at the Oklahoma City Memorial now has a Cubs t-shirt on it. The chair honors Cubs superfan Stephen Williams.
Sarah Sweet is Stephen's daughter, who came up with the idea of putting the t-shirt on his chair. She says not only was he a big Cubs fan, he loved to collect baseball cards, which are mementos his family still cherish. She remembers gathering with her dad and other family members to watch when the Cubs were on TV. Nice touch right there.
So sweet.
6:11 now this morning.
Chained like a dog is how police found a woman who has been missing since August.
And police still searching the property. We'll tell you what they are looking for. High-speed chase involving multiple officers ends without the driver being ticketed. The reason they let that driver go.
Plus, we are down to the wire. This presidential campaign, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, the very latest on their camps coming up. Don't miss those stories.
Keep it here.
You're watching News Channel 4 This Morning with Ali Meyer, Kent Ogle, and Emily Sutton. News Channel 4, always there for you.